Okay.
Okay, we are on the air.
All right, perfect. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our presentation today. I am so excited to get an opportunity to share the space with my colleague, Dr. Corey Lee, who is here with me as well. We're going to walk you through a really exciting demonstration of the eLearnReady tool and talk about its history over the last 6+ years, its adoption across different colleges and universities, and how you're going to, I hope, love this particular tool as much as I do and want to implement it into your classes as well as pass it along to many of your colleagues. Let me tell you a little bit about what eLearnReady is, and then we're going to dive in and do a quick introduction of myself as well as Corey. So what you're seeing on your screen right now is an overview of the eLearnReady tool, and you're seeing that it's a free web-based online survey tool that evaluates students' readiness for online success in the online environment. We are so excited to have received the 2023 Merlot Classic Award from the Psychology Editorial Board this year. That is such an honor. Those awards are only given to one group per editorial board from Merlot. And it's such an honor to actually have received this as a new tool in the online learning space and one that we offer for free. So we're going to spend the remainder of this presentation first giving you a little bit of background and history about the eLearnReady tool. And then Corey's going to take an opportunity to give you a test drive and do a demonstration of how you might actually implement it into your course. First, let's go ahead and get started and do just a brief introduction of myself as well as my colleague Corey. So I'm Sherry Restora. I am a teaching associate in the Department of Psychology at Coastal Carolina University. I'm also a part-time faculty member at the University of Nebraska. And so I am happily teaching within my field. I have 22 years in higher education, both in digital learning as well as teaching in the fields of education and in the field of psychology. Corey?
Okay, thank you. My name is Corey Lee. I'm an associate professor at Coastal Carolina University. And then my colleague and I, we developed this tool about 20 years ago when I was working on the dissertation. And then I'm going to bring you to the next slide. And then this is the project background. And then at that time, we just see the growth of the digital learning. And then at that time, as you know, that we have a lot of attrition rate. And then we were wondering that how can we help students to get success in the online learning environment, and then to reduce the attrition rate, and then also get students to prepare for the online learning environment. And then at that time, we are only do the kind of paper version. We will have the student to fill out the paper version of the assessment, and then later on we develop the online version, and then our online version launched 6 or 7 years ago when we presented at the OLC Innovation in 2017. Okay.
So one of the exciting things about being affiliated with, reviewed for, and also receiving the Classics Award from Merlot is not only do we have the website that you're seeing on the left-hand screen, which is our homepage, and Corey's going to take you there in just a few slides at elearnready.com, but we're also hosted by and supported by the Merlot repository. And the screen that you're seeing on the right-hand side, it shows here specifically how you can locate the resource object within Merlot. It's actually housed under the psychology collection, but you can also just go directly to merlot.org and you can type in eLearnReady and it will pull up the tool for you. And you have the ability to connect to it. You can share it with colleagues. You can see here that we have a 4.5-star rating by all of our peers on Merlot, which is a fantastic review score. I'm also an editor on a couple of the Merlot boards. And so I do my own reviews. And I think that this is a fantastic score compared to many of our materials. We're doing really well with that. You can also see some additional details here about the eLearnReady tool based on the evaluation from people like me, peer reviewers in Merlot. So you can see that it has a user rating. General users who have picked up the tool have rated it at 4.5 out of 5 stars. We have all of our data about ADA accessibility compliance uploaded. And even recently, Corey as the developer of the tool, has made recent updates to Merlot. So you can see recent updates happened to this tool on Merlot just within the last few weeks in February. So anytime you want to bookmark this, you can either bookmark the eLearnReady.com to go directly to the tool itself, or you're welcome to find it on the resource page directly within merlot.org just by typing in eLearnReady or by using the link that we've embedded here on this slide.
Thank
So,
you.
of course. So this particular section, I want to talk just very briefly about some of the key points that I have found as a faculty member, and then also in my role as a distance learning administrator overseeing distance learning at a university, where this particular tool has proven to be exceptional. And some of the 5 points that you see highlighted here are those that I would say make it a tool that goes above and beyond tools that might exist in the market. Number one is the fact that it actually looks specifically at 9 different elements of student readiness. It doesn't just look at one or two. It doesn't look at just the things that are most popular. In fact, it's more holistic, and it looks at 9 separate characteristics of possible student success. And then it provides feedback to the student and or to the faculty member on those elements. The second point that you see here is that when a student completes this particular assessment tool, the student themselves not only will receive a report that shows how they scored on each of those 9 factors, but they can choose to send that specific report to their faculty members and or to their advisors. And in a moment, I'm going to show you an example of how this has been implemented within my own classes, within other people's classes outside of my university as well. And you can see some really creative ways of using this eLearnReady student assessment tool for online readiness to determine how to place students into appropriate course modalities. The third element you see here is that as an instructor, I have the ability to create a class profile. And if I do that, let's say I have a class of 30 different students, each of my students may complete their eLearnReady assessment, and this tool can compile that data for me and will actually give me a class-wide assessment. And Corey's going to demonstrate that for you. That is probably one of my favorite tools. I'm teaching 4 classes this semester, and so I could create one of these for each of my 4 classes. And as you guys probably know, as well as faculty members and instructional designers like myself, each class has their own personality, they have their own differences, they have their own preparations. And so this gives us that data to determine where they have peaks and where they have valleys, and where I may need to step in and help them as a faculty member, where they have areas where they're having a little bit of support needed. The last two are quick, but so important. The fourth one that's listed there is, not only is this tool free, and that is a major contrast to many of the other online student readiness tools out there, but it has undergone significant review for ADA as well as WCAG compliance. And so when Corey does a demonstration for you, you'll be able to see that we have videos, we have transcripts, we have lots of really cool functionalities that are built into the tool to ensure that it is ADA compliant as well as WCAG compliant. And then finally, we do have many different examples of models that you can use for implementing. I'm just going to showcase 3, and then Corey's going to share towards the end of our presentation today a website that lists a number of different examples that you might consider in your own space. All right, so let's take a look at one of those 3 examples that I have for you. This is just simply a screenshot from a Moodle learning management system. In addition to some of the examples you've already heard me talk about, where you might implement it as a faculty member within your own, let's say, Psychology 101 class, you could also, as an instructional designer or as an online learning systems administrator, if you're building course templates, you might consider embedding eLearnReady into an orientation module or into a getting started module. What you're seeing here on the screen is, in fact, exactly that. In my role as a distance learning administrator, my team actually built course templates, made those templates available to all faculty, regardless of modality, and we embedded into that getting started module important components that were critical for students' success in the online learning environment. And one of those things that we deemed to be most critical was the eLearnReady. And so you're seeing that this was the second item out of 8 in the getting started module in this Moodle segment, and that eLearnReady was right there available for all faculty. They simply could hop in and edit the text if they wanted to in the template. They could update it and add additional items to it. They could require it, or if they chose not to use it in their class, they could hide it in this specific example. But it was there for all faculty. It was interesting too as well And Corey may actually remember this as well. I was so excited when we got permission to actually add this at the top level from our provost's office, because they thought that this was such an important tool that it would benefit all students across our campus. And so we had fantastic administrative buy-in for implementing this in all of our course templates, regardless of course modality. All right, let's take a look at the other two that I have on the next slide. These are two other examples. The one on the left-hand side comes from a colleague at a community college, and they actually implemented getting started in a student success module. So rather than an academic credit bearing class like Psychology 101 or Math 211, this is more of a student success or an FYE type of class. And it was embedded into all of their orientation and getting started materials there. So you're just seeing another example of what that looks like embedded within a specific academic success class. And then on the right-hand side, where you're seeing the red call-out circles, that's actually another online class. It's one of mine, and it's hosted in the Canvas Learning Management System. And you're just seeing that that was embedded specifically in my Child Development Psychology 455 class there. And it was under a specific heading in week 1, talking about how to be a successful online student. So it can be embedded in many different components. These are just 3 examples. You could consider it in your individual class. You could consider embedding it as optional. You could consider embedding it as required. You could do what's being shown on the left-hand side, where it's embedded into an academic success course. And once the students complete those particular assessments, they send it automatically to each of their advisors to prove that they've completed it and for their next steps in registering for their next classes. So I love the models. I love the different possibilities, considering what your campus culture is and your campus structure is. Each of you is probably going to come up with a lot of different ideas about how to implement it as well. And then also Corey will be able to show you a website that we've created for you that has a number of different implementation models at the end as well. All right, Corey, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Okay, thank you. And then on this slide, I want to add 2 things. We have several institutions, they adopt our tool as kind of orientation tool for all the assessment, for all the freshmen who want to take the online class, and then they are not allowed to take the online class until they finish this survey and then send a report to their advisor. So it's a great tool to understand if your freshman is ready for the online learning. And then also this one is also like a share this great idea to implement to your course. I think that is very essential for online course. I don't know about your university, but at Coastal, one of the question in the course evaluation is that if the faculty member provides sufficient support for your online course. So I think that if you can integrate this tool to your online course, and then that will boost your evaluation report score a little bit, I guess it will help. And then the next one, this is the kind of our data and outcomes. So in the 6 years, we have been improve our revision and then this tool, so to make it more usable for the students and then for the faculty members. And then so far, we have more than 10,000 students already complete the survey, and then we generate the report, and then the report will be sent to their email account. And right now, we have more than 25 higher ed institutions who adopt our tool. And then also, we also have one university, they make they have the prerequisites, and then the prerequisites is called eLearnReady course. So they are taking our tool seriously, and then they put it as a prerequisites, as their prerequisites course. So the next, I'm going to show you like how you can use this tool, and then what the features that this tool can provide. So this, if you go to our eLearnReady.com, this is our homepage, and then this one give you a lot of information about our tool, and it also give you the story or the history, the background of our project. If you do not want to spend a lot of time reading it, you can just go ahead and then click on the free tool. It will take you to this page. So this is our actual page. Then again, it tells you like what you can do with this system. And then basically we simplify the system as a 1, 2, 3 steps. And then when we are developing this tool, and then after I finish it, one of my colleagues says that, why don't you create a video tutorial to introduce how to use this tool? And then my response that if I have to create a video tutorial to show you how to use this tool, I fail as the designer because as you know, like if you are shopping on the Amazon, you don't need to read the tutorial, right? You know how to shop online. So we want to make this tool as user-friendly as possible. So every single step, we try to make it very clear and then to users and how to use it. So all you need to do is to go to if you do not want to aggregate your students' data, you can just go to the student link here. You can just copy and paste and then have students to complete survey. And then that's it. But and then after student complete the survey, it will generate a report, something like this one here, the report. This is an example. When the student will see the report and then they can share this report with the instructor or academic advisor, they can click on it and then the window will pop up. It will say, okay, you want to share with your advisor or your instructor, you can just put your information here and submit it, and then the system will share your report with that person. And then as Sherry mentioned, that we have 9 categories, and these are categories that we identify which is essential for students to be a successful online learner. And then we also, based on our experience, we have a kind of cut-off point, like these are the suggested level. And then if you are higher than the suggested level, you are good. But if you are lower, you might want to pay more attention to your own learning in your own prerequisites or strengths in this field, in these categories. For each category, we have the score and then the average. These are the recommended level. And then we have 9 categories. For each category, we will provide a description and suggestions for your learning. And then we also get the funding from our university. We will be able to hire students to record this video. And then all this video will also provide the transcript, which is ADA compliant. So for each category, we provide the description, the suggestions, and then video. And then all this, we improve it over these 6 years, because initially we only have like a description and we do not have the video. But later on, we know like a lot of undergraduate students, they are young, they prefer the visual. So we apply for the grant, and then we got a grant to hire the student producer and an actor to produce this video. And then we also, as you can see, our video have a lot of like students coming from different background. So it also like demonstrate the kind of diversity in our on our campus. So next, the class profile. I think that this is something that is unique. As you can see that in the market, there are some kind of tool that will allow the students to complete the similar survey, and then, but they do not, so far I know that they did not provide the kind of aggregated student data. But if you register an account with us and then you generate your unique URL, and you have your student in that class to complete the survey using that URL, you will be able to generate the class profile, which is very useful for your teaching practice, because as you can see that this is the example. This is the class, the year of the class, the term, and then this is the course title. And then from here, I will be able to see that how many students complete this survey. And then this is unique student survey link. So you have students to using this link to complete your survey. And then you will be able to see that, okay, how many students already completed. And then this is the class profile. For example, this self-motivation, I know that most of my students, they have moderate, like 48% of students have moderate proficiencies in the self-motivation dimension. And if you see that if they have like a 30 or 40 percent of students have low self-motivation, and then you might want to kind of have some intervention, like you want to send out a regular reminder for students to ask them to keep on the task, something like that. And then also like and as an instructor, you will be able, you are given the instructional strategies to improve your teaching regarding how to improve student motivation in this dimension.
Corey, I just wanted to add in here that as a faculty member, this is probably one of my favorite features. And I know I mentioned this earlier, but the idea that as a faculty member, not all faculty members would know what these instructional strategies are. And so in terms of eLearnReady being a totally comprehensive tool, not only does it give that feedback to the students to tell the students how to improve their learning, but in addition to that, as you're demonstrating here, for a faculty member to have this long list of instructional strategies and it tell them, now what do I do? I love that. And I love that that is an extra step that we've added in, because I feel like it's such an extra boost to faculty. I'm thinking, of myself, thinking of, if I have a class in which they have a significantly lower score on being able to manage the course homepage or the course learning management system, then I know that I need to spend more time providing supplemental resources and helping them to better understand the learning management system. So I can immediately see, lots of different implementation opportunities, but I just wanted to pop in and say how much I love the instructional strategies because it really is something that I see from my previous role in distance learning administration. Most faculty don't know a lot of these. So I think this is a great resource to share with colleagues from anybody watching this to see which kinds of instructional strategies we've already built in. And since these were all built from your experience, my experience, and our research, they're really well founded in the literature.
Yeah, thank you. And then remember, like when Sherry and I, we work on these strategies, we spend about like 6 months to compile all the strategies. As you can see that our list is very comprehensive. And then you will see that how much effort that we pour into this list. Okay, and then the last thing I want to talk about is the adoption ideas. The adoption ideas, you can just copy and paste these strategies into you can have the guide informed discussion, or you can have assessment, or you can have the academic advising. These are all the strategies that you can implement or utilize this tool in for your class or for the freshman orientation course. The last thing I want to talk about is the dashboard. The dashboard allows you to create a new course. When you create a new course, you will be given a survey link. And with the survey link, you can just share this survey link to your students. And then with the older students, they complete the survey, you will be able to see your class profile. For example, I click the class profile, and then this is the class profile I will get. And then if you have multiple courses, you can just create a new course, and then you just give them the survey link, and then you will be able to see all these courses. the class profile. Okay, this is the test drive or demo for our online tool. As I mentioned earlier, when we design this tool, we want to make it very easy for you to use. So as we anticipated, you would not need any kind of guideline. You can just go ahead and create an account and then start using this tool. And then the students, all they need to do is just click the link and then finish the survey, and then that's all they need to do. And then also, by the way, when we developed this student tool, and then we went through a very rigorous process to identify this factor, and then we use a statistical analysis called factor analysis. We validated with the reliability and validity. And at that time, we have about like close to 1,000 students in the pilot program, and then to help us to finalize this tool. So we put a lot of effort to validate this tool. Okay, I think that this concludes our demo here. Let's go back to our slide.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Corey, so much for taking the time to do the demonstration. Thank you to everybody for paying attention during this particular presentation. And thank you again to the Merlot Psychology Board for the Classics Award this year for 2023. Again, we're thrilled. This particular tool has been amazing. We hope that you've loved this presentation. You have Corey's email address as well as my email address here. You're welcome to reach out to us if you have any questions, and we'll be happy to assist you with ideas on implementation or any other questions you might have. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Okay, cut. That was good, Corey. That was so
Good. Thank
good.
you.
We did
Yeah,
it. Yay.
we did it. We did it.